Wow, you got me thinking about so many things. I need to slow down in here. Yeah, no, you're right. And to hone in on your original key skill sets and then partner up, take other people for everything else that you can.
And because you will attract people that are expert in their field.
Yeah.
If you're not expert in anything, how can you be attractive to someone else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very, very good point.
Have you been thinking about buying your first rental property for some time, or do you already own a bunch of properties? Well, fellow investors, you found the right location to listen and learn from others' successes. Welcome to The Very Real Estate Effect with your host, Axel Mont-Saint-Jean.
Hello, and welcome back to the Very Real Estate Effect podcast, a show dedicated to real estate investing right here in Quebec. And now for the third week in a row, it's a pleasure to have my friend Denis Gallico who's here. Hey, Denis, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Axel. It's such a pleasure.
Yeah, it's fun. The last 2 weeks, we had great conversations about your experience, how you started with small plexes, then how you were able to scale and building a partnership with the boys of Emo Alliance, and that's turned out really, really well. You actually recently closed your biggest transaction.
Yes.
Congratulations again. And this week, I just wanted to take a little bit of time to actually reflect on your successes, on your career, because you had some successes and some big lessons.
Yeah.
And kind of go from there. For those who are listening to us who might be thinking, yeah, but Denis already so accomplished. He's done all this, but he didn't start buying big buildings on St. Catherine.
Nope.
He started with a triplex, and that's something that everyone can do. And so to start off, reflecting on those different experiences that you've had, when you meet a 25-year-old person who comes for training, or just to meet you at an event, like what is it that you would say to yourself at 25 years old coming into real estate investing?
Couple of things. The first one would be stay hungry. I mean, like you have to understand that you don't know everything. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know nothing.
Very little.
You know nothing. And be humble enough to say, okay, it's not because I did a training at, $3,000, $5,000 that I know everything. No, be humble and stay in the field for a couple of years to understand what it is exactly. So always be hungry of learning new stuff. And it's not because someone has 100 doors or someone has none and you have 20 that it cannot teach you a lesson, right? This is the first thing. The second thing is usually what I say is if you want to start somewhere and you have no capital, you have to know the basics of what is a deal, okay, to look for deals. So being an expert into prospecting real estate is really an asset that a lot of people that have money are looking for. So maybe a lot of youngsters that I met in events, they are sending so many offers and they find incredible deal, and they are usually selling the offers to a bigger company, a bigger investor, and they start like that to the time to just have the capital to do their own.
Yeah. So they start by wholesaling.
Yeah.
They'll get more familiar with this particular market. They'll learn how to put it under contract, and then they'll go flip the paper to somebody else for 20, 30K or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is what I'm seeing from a lot of people that have. And it's not 25, you can be 18. I'm seeing investors that are 18, 19, and they are so mature. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible, and it's really nice to see that. And this is how a lot are starting.
A lot of starting out, yeah. And that's actually a really good advice, because for some people it's very intimidating. And how many times I've had conversations, at networking events, and people are young, and one not that long ago, she's just finishing university, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm saving for my first down payment." I said, "Well, okay, that's a very valid point. How about you just educate yourself?" And then you can go and make, 20K by flipping the paper just on your first deal. And it took you 3 months of work. Like, there's so many ways to make money in real estate.
But you have to be humble enough to put the work.
Yeah. And I like that you said, you started by saying to stay hungry. Yeah. And then you said by being humble. And I actually really like that, because I'm sure you've come across a lot of people who, in French, I love to say, qui se pètent les bretelles, that are, flipping their suspenders, being like, I'm so big and cool because, in my partnership, we have 50 units. Yeah, but you have 10% of 50 units, and you really didn't, I don't want to say you didn't contribute much. Everybody contributes, but like, stay humble.
But I have someone that started, I said, at the bottom, and he brought a deal, and instead of getting the money for it, I said, okay, do you want 5% share of the building? It's not much, but you will be learning
the whole process
with us. So
yeah,
instead of taking, let's say, 30K or 40K, he took that knowledge and the contacts and
is worth
the financing
so much
guy and the bankers and the method and the CRM and the entrepreneur and the guy. And, all this was worth maybe 250K or 300K in addition of having 5% of the deal. So this is what I'm saying when I'm saying
that's
humble.
The best learning experience that someone can have for a young person, to be taken under your wing like that and to be shown the entire process, like walk through the acquisition and then the optimization and then the refi and then, fully stabilized and operate.
So don't take short-term money. Like, take the time to shadow someone that have huge amount of success to learn all the stuff at lightning speed.
Okay, so then stay hungry, be humble, keep learning. What else is there that you think contributed to your success? Because, I mean, you could have stopped. I mean, you took some punches, you took some slaps. At some point, you could have said, I'll just do like one deal a year and that's it. But no, you kept going ahead.
I think an asset I have is I love solving problems. I mean, and what I usually say is the bigger the problems, the most money would have.
Yeah, the larger the payoff.
The larger the payoff.
Yeah.
So if you like, a lot of, let's say doctors are investing in real estate. They don't want to have any problems. They just want to invest money and that's it. That's all. Yeah. But in Centris, as we were saying in the first episode, if you have buildings with big problems, the contamination, tenants, this, the bigger problem you're solving, the better the payoff.
Yeah.
So it's really like a thing that you need to have in real estate is consistency.
Yeah.
And solving problems. This is the two assets you really need to have.
Yeah.
When you start to invest.
The problem solving is so important, and it's funny how, and I'm sure you've had that experience where you have a problem early on in your career, and it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
And now you look at this 3 years later, and you're like, oh, this is one phone call.
Oh yes.
I know how to solve it. I know just the person. 5-minute phone call. It's fixed. It's taken care of.
So think about it. If you're starting and you're shadowing someone that is already level 10 in problem solving.
Yeah. 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 No, you're right. Problem solving, like that's what we do most of the day, and in terms of the consistency and the hard work, is that we have to keep pushing the ball forward.
Yes.
And every day we need to make a small gain.
Yes.
Small gain. Sometimes it feels like it's very lateral.
Yeah.
And we've kind of changed lane, but we've got to keep pushing it forward to take it to the close. So again, like for 25-year-olds who are starting now, I find it's often underestimated how much learning is worth. And as you said, you can go to, different organizations who provide coaching and learning for this, but spend time outside. Talk to people who are just a bit further down the spiral.
Yes. This is a key advice, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to skills to develop, we've talked about a few things, and originally when I was thinking about this is, what skills should you have? But there's skills that we don't have that we can develop. Is there a few that you can think of that you didn't have at the beginning, but over the years you've been able to develop that now you do instantly?
It's going to be hard to see it because it's a podcast, but think about a matrix where you have on the x-axis you have what you love, and on the y-axis is what you're good at.
Yeah.
Right? Think about that. and try to place every stuff you're doing in a day in terms of real estate into those 4 boxes. So you would have what you don't like and what you're bad at. Easy. Don't do it. All right. You're bad and you're not good.
Yeah.
And you don't like it. The worst corner is what you love, but you're not good
Not
at.
good at.
Because you're like, I want to spend more time on it. And to be honest with you, is I don't believe in the process of learning to increase a skill that you will come from mediocre to average.
Yeah.
Because as I was saying in the first episodes, I want experts in my team, right? So even if it's few skills, try to find the one that you're good and you love and just hammer them, like to be the best into those fields. So I know there's a lot of people may say, oh, it's better to know a little bit of everything. It's not my strategy. And as I was saying, and Grant Cardone was saying it in his book 10X, if you didn't read, just read it. He said, you don't go to the movie or to the cinema saying, oh, it's average director, average stunt, average movie. No, you won't go there. It's amazing movie, amazing director, amazing actors, So you want to be surrounded by the best lawyer. You want to be surrounded by the best architect.
Yeah.
And to be surrounded by those, you have to be the best at something.
Wow, you got me thinking about so many things. I need to slow down in here. Yeah, no, you're right. And to hone in on your original key skill sets and then partner up, take other people for everything else that you can.
And because you will attract people that are expert in their field.
Yeah.
If you're not expert in anything, how can you be attractive to someone else?
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Now, you talked a little bit about, the capital raising.
Yeah.
And I thought, and thank you for sharing honestly, like, I hate raising capital because I feel like I'm, asking and I'm begging for money. And for a lot of people, that's how it makes them feel. And I've kind of turned the corner of realizing, like, hold on a second, there's so much capital out there looking for good deals.
Yeah.
Looking for opportunities that you're actually making them a favor by presenting an opportunity that makes sense. Now, you have someone on the team that's doing this.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like there is a few items that you've been able to learn over the years? And if yes, what?
Definitely. As you said, the first years it's not my skill set. It's not my expertise. I want to give it to someone else, and I don't like that. So you remember the mattress?
Yeah.
I don't want to push on this one. But what my partner Jordan taught me is, as you said, you're doing them a favor. They don't have access to those kind of deal.
Yeah.
What they have access is a 5% interest in the bank, or maybe the S&P 500, where depending on when you put the money in, and
timing.
you're being hammered by fees, financial institution, the closing fees. You have so many fees that even if you're at 3% interest, you're maybe at minus 2%, and you're taking out the inflation, because if you did 10% and the inflation was 8, actually you did 2%.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people don't have this opportunity, and you don't have a lot of group that are doing what we are doing at that interest. So giving the opportunities to someone else is really, actually, as I learned that, is really a gift. So my mindset changed over the time by talking to Jordan, and actually I'm not saying I'm good at. I'm saying I've maybe a big network that is looking for deals, and I'm just talking to the deal as why I do invest in it, and it's much more about. As I said, I'm not an expert in it, so let's say Jordan is doing 80% of the raising capital, but my mindset changed a little bit, saying, talking to you about the deal is the same thing to talking to someone that maybe wants to invest capital. So at the end, I'm just a passive guy saying, okay, if you want to invest, maybe we have some space.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's not I'm looking for it. Actually, like,
yeah,
so
exactly, because you're not asking for it.
Yeah, I'm not asking for
Yeah.
it.
And thank you for bringing this up. Like the power and the importance of just sharing what you're working on, and giving a bit of tidbits and a bit of information and stuff and then people around you are like, hey, next time you have an opportunity like that, you should let me know. Maybe I'd be interested in coming up. And you're like, really? You would be? Oh, I'd never thought I'd hear you say that. And then it depends on the type of investor and partner you're looking for, but it really goes a long way.
Yeah.
So raising capital is obviously a very important part. And then, you said, okay, Grant Cardone making the reference to not being average. Yes. And at the same time, I realize like we have several projects that are ongoing right now. And at the same time with my wife, like we've realized that it's worked because we've been able to more or less go through every step of the process. So the acquisition, we did it ourselves. Permitting with the city, obviously we have a great architect, and so on and so forth. And as much as it's important to not be average, having a global view and a global understanding of the whole thing is really important. Also, because when you're working with a contractor and they tell you it takes $100, or $10,000 to do this job, and you're like, no, I understand what you need to do. This is a $3,000 job. And so how does it come for you that, you don't want to be average, but you need to understand the whole process, because in the end, you have to be a bit of a generalist.
You're right. So, and to be an expert, you have to go through average, right? So, because you'll climb up. But
exactly. You'll climb out of it.
You'll climb out of it. But you're right. And this was my first thought is I don't know, I put carpet or whatever, carpenter in my kitchen or whatever. I mean, I wanted to do it once to know what it was. Yeah. But don't advertise it as your skill, your expertise. What I'm saying is it's good to know a lot of stuff. And it comes back to being humble and being always a problem solver, trying to learn new stuff. Is because, yes, I know a lot of stuff, of everything, like on contamination, on structure, electricity, Hydro-Quebec, the time to plug your in when you're, I don't know if you ask for your permits to be plugged in on your new construction, but better hurry.
Plug it for the car plug-in?
The electricity plugging. It takes up to 9 months.
Oh, yeah, right now it's absolutely terrible.
So
I have a project being held up by Hydro-Quebec.
So this is the part that you learn. But if I tell you tomorrow morning, Axel, like, why should I be into your partnership? You won't say, oh, because I know that it takes 9 months to be plugged to Hydro-Quebec, right? Yeah. So you know that stuff. It's kind of like baseline. Yeah. But it's not your expertise. It's not how you're going to sell me that you're the best. Mm-hmm. You're the best at finding deal. You're the best at knowing people. You have a network that is incredible. So this is what you're going to advertise. And this is what you will spend 80% of your time on. Yeah. But the 20%, let's say you will speak with people and being really knowledgeable and saying, you cannot fuck me over. Yeah. because you have the baseline.
Yeah. And because you have enough experience that you can kind of see those moves or those moments coming in. But in having conversations with other real estate investors, sometimes I take a step back and I'm like, you know what? I feel like I've already done a lot. Now, it may not be huge projects and I didn't build a tower downtown, but thinking back of like the various types of project that we've worked on and the difficulties and the obstacles that we had to deal with, sometimes I'm like, wow, actually, we've come quite a long way. And sometimes it's easy to forget all that.
Yes. And also learn that you have your baseline knowledge now, and you will, and to accept that you will have new problems in the future. Yeah. But as you said earlier on, it's level 2 problems or level 5 problems or level 10 problems. And yes, but you don't want to be an expert into everything anyway. No. Anyway, you cannot.
You can't.
And anyway, it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. No, and thinking back over the years, like for me now, it's been 6 years, and it's, as you said, like the consistency. And there's times it's actually really discouraging. There's times where it's hard, but hey, you know what? That was just today. Tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow we'll get some better news, and we just keep going and keep going and keep going, and it really does pay off.
Oh, I mean, like if you missed the episode 2, listen to it. But for a day, I wanted to quit real estate. I was like,
No.
it's so hard, and you're swimming against so much force.
No.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's not depending just on you. It's depending on the 10, 20, 30 people that they are all doing their job, and they're all the stars are aligned and everything. And, I was really focusing on one specifically deal, and it was really hard that the financial partner left 2 weeks prior to the notary at that time. But I took a day, and the next day I was like, look at it as long term.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a day is in a year, what a day is in 10 years. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's not.
And as you said, it's paying off because you're playing the marathon. You're running the marathon.
Yeah.
Sometimes the ultra marathon. But what I'm saying is, you just have to stop, think short term. And, there's a common saying people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 5.
Yeah.
And you will think about it in 5 years. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of wealth you created by just solving problems.
Yeah. You got me all motivated now. I know, and sometimes, and I've shared it on the podcast. Like we've had some good successes. We've had some projects that are a little bit more difficult, and it's always such a good learning experience. And at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. You get involved. You get pushed to learn really quickly.
Yeah.
And, for those who follow the podcast, like my Saint-Jérôme project, that's what it's been. We bought a project for 16 units. We took it to 43. It's now approved. We still need to make a few changes with the city, but, we will succeed. And I would have never gotten the confidence that I did to do other projects if I didn't get involved into this one. So at some point, you just have to make a choice. Just make sure it doesn't jeopardize your entire financial future, which it didn't in our case, but
at the same time, I mean, congratulations, and you have to be resilient, and at the same time is what I usually say is the beauty of knowledge is if I share it to you, I don't lose mine, right?
Very well said.
A lesson or knowledge or whatever it is, instead of $100. Let's say if I give you $100, I'm losing $100, right?
It's a one-sum game instead of a zero-sum game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even if, let's say, the Saint-Jérôme project is going really, really bad and you lose it all, you didn't lose the knowledge. You didn't lose the experience. You didn't lose the network.
Yeah.
You didn't lose everything. So it's just one asset that you lost.
Yeah.
Which is not a big deal.
Yeah.
Because...
And in this case, I don't want to send the wrong message.
Yeah.
It's not lost. It's just taking more time than expected.
Yeah.
And time is money, and time makes it difficult because as a developer, time is your enemy. Let's say it. And actually right now, we're in talks with another developer. It's going well, and I think their expertise is going to be extremely beneficial to the project. So it's encouraging. But as you said, like reliance and just don't stop.
Yeah. It just be consistent. A lot of people are studying prospecting and wholesale and everything, and they are like, "Oh, I did a 50 cold call today, and it's incredible. Okay, I'm good, but yesterday, how many you did? Oh, 50."
Yeah.
And you talk to them like, let's say, a year later, and you're like, "Okay, how long did you kept going on that?"
Yeah.
And I did that for a year, for a month, and I didn't have
Nothing came out of it. So I
nothing
stopped.
came out. Yeah, but you were not consistent.
Yeah.
That's why.
And all it takes is one deal for everything else to disappear and for all of this to be worth it.
Yes, and the devil is in the detail, and the follow-ups are part of the big way I made a lot of deals. Just following up on stuff, and people are not sometimes ready.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that? Tell me more.
On Centris.
Okay.
Again, it's
Okay.
not incredible.
On the
I mean,
market.
how it's possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm saying is sometimes sellers are not ready
Mm-hmm.
yet because they don't mind to wait.
Because they don't want to take a big price drop.
For example, and there's a good friend I is telling me always is your price, my condition.
Yeah.
My condition, your price.
Your price. Yeah, you can't have both.
Yeah, you cannot
Yeah.
have both. It's either price or conditions, right?
Yeah.
And if it's price drop or conditions specific, but I did a lot of money in just following up. For example, the next one we are buying a 32 units building, and it I mean this one was off market, but we don't. I mean it's the same process as
Yeah.
on market, and it was a year ago when. A year ago they had an offer and it was supposed to be sold, and I did follow-ups every 3 months, and it's not going well. Okay, look,
I'll call
I'm
you.
still,
in-
I'm still,
I'll
I'm
call
still
you in a
here. I mean,
month.
if I'm gonna call you back in a month, you have let's say contamination. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, just give me a follow-up once it's done and see if for you, sorry, but congratulations. I mean, if you're selling the building to that, I mean, I'm good for you. I'm happy
Yeah,
for you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's not
Yeah,
working, I'm
Yeah.
still here.
I can still help you out.
And at the end, usually, as I was saying, in the first episode, at the end, sometimes I just have all the problems solved, but the broker didn't do a good job into re-advertising the asset to the market, and I'm just scooping that asset to saying, okay, I'm buying it, let's say $200,000 less
Mm-hmm.
with all the problems fixed in the contamination and this and this and this and this.
And by then, as you said, the seller is really tired. He just wants to move on, and he'll be a lot more negotiable.
And because sometimes people just bought the asset and what let's say 25 years ago, and sometimes they bought 2, 3, 4, and on the 4 asset they sold 3 during the pandemic and the pandemic, and they just did a shit ton of money, and the last one, look, at the end is just the average of money you did. If the last one you didn't do as much as you thought you would be,
Mm-hmm.
at least you didn't lose some, right?
Yeah.
So you did 3 pretty good deals, 1 average. The average part is good. You did,
Overall, you
overall
still
you
did
did a
very
good job.
well.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And then they're still attached to the 2021 price, and those days are gone. Interest
Yeah.
rates are higher, and things are different. So consistency, following up. It's in a way, it's a lot of boring stuff. It's just that it's skills that make you a lot of money over time.
Oh, it's not sexy. Real estate is not. I mean, except you need to have a strong why.
Yeah.
Doing real estate. If you're just doing it for the money, you won't do the marathon.
No.
So, it's not glamour. It's not the cryptocurrency new thing that or the drop shipping stuff that you have to invest and you will be a millionaire in a year or in
Sure. In
90
days. Yeah, exactly.
In 90 days. So, no, it's not glamour, but real estate build more millionaires than any other industry. So,
Yeah, and we're very fortunate to be in it, to have greatly benefited, and I'm extremely grateful actually to the entire community, and I'm actually grateful to you who's listening, because it's been, I think, 212 episodes, and I know every week it's been over 3 years, almost 4 years, and I've been forced to have meaningful conversation like this one. So on this note, Denis, thank you very much for your participation. I really appreciate you taking the time today to share your experience, knowledge, opening up, and for everybody here to be able to learn.
And if I would end with just one thing is, I mean, usually it's just share and as you said, send it to someone that could benefit on it. But if you don't want to waste your time listening it and our time just recording it, can you please just comment one golden nugget, let's say per episode,
Yeah.
right? It's a 30-minute episode.
Yeah.
We gave a shit ton of knowledge on it. Yeah. Just comment.
Yeah.
It's either on YouTube, Spotify, whatever. Just share one golden nugget you learned, and you're gonna apply it the next Monday.
Yeah.
Because it's the goal is not to have the more knowledge; it's just to apply, or to just use one of the golden nugget you learned.
Yeah.
So one thing you're gonna do next week, the consistency, and just comment it below.
Yeah. Do you hear this? Let us know what you learned and how you're going to apply it. And you have to write a one-liner, a three-liner,
one line, if 5
whatever it
words,
is.
I don't care, but just one thing, so you didn't waste your time
Yeah.
listening.
Thank you for this wonderful contribution and ask, Denis. It's a great idea. And for all those who are listening, again, share this episode with a friend. Keep researching your market. Make some offers. Thank you, Denis.
Thank you, Axel.
Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.